If you're watching this today, you might think you might be coming for an episode of the Olympics, but it's actually not. This is another episode of This Week in MeteorJS, but we do have an Olympics-related bit of content. We have a guest here who was at the Olympics. Now, I know for a fact when I was a kid, I dreamt of being a gymnast, going to the Olympics, participating. These guys actually went there, but they didn't go as competitors. They went as people that helped build elements of the Olympics that were being used. So if you're interested in finding out more, stick around. We'll get to it. But for now, this is episode 53 of This Week in MeteorJS, a weekly newscast of the MeteorJS Dispatches broadcast. My name is Alim Gafar, streaming to you live from New York City.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dvorak, aka Storyteller, coming to you live from Prague.
And we have a guest with us today and you'll find out more about why they're here, although I kind of mentioned the reason why they're here with us today. And why don't we bring Victor in?
There you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Victor, streaming from Paris, France.
And Victor is with a company called AlloHouston, and we'll be hearing more about that. But as we often do, we're going to get right into the news.
All right. First item on the news, let's switch over here, is a follow-up from our story a couple of months back, actually quite a few months back, about Redis and their changing license. The follow-up is that Redis has made a big Redis 8 release, as was reported on the forums by Paul Eilinke. Apologies for butchering the name. And we have the here link from TechCrunch. And it's supposedly a huge release. And the interesting part in there is that the CEO says that the license was really holding back a lot of innovation from the company. And now that they have changed the license that they feel is more advantageous for the company, they can finally release all the big things that they have been holding up without worry that Google and Amazon will kind of take it away and make lots of money without giving anything back. So a lot of speed improvements and new tools and everything. Definitely something to check out if you use Redis.
It is impressive how many new things they've thrown out into the world with this new release. I was really surprised when I read that article, just how much they were coming out with. It's almost as if it's, I would say another 2 versions of innovations.
Absolutely, and it's as it says in the article, they felt that they had to hold back. So now that they don't feel that they have to hold back, they can just kind of put everything in, and who knows how long they have been preparing for this.
Yeah, cool. Am I up next? I'm sorry.
Yes. Speaking of releases,
speaking of releases, we are. There's been a new release of Node 22. There's a 22.7 release, which includes experimental transform type support, performance improvements to buffer and module syntax detection, which we talked about in an early episode, is now enabled by default. But you might say, well, isn't Meteor on version 20? And the reason I bring this up is, yes, it is. I think we want to be on whatever the most current release is. Version 20 is on long-term support right now, and that's what we're on. But they did have a new release of it. They released 20.17, and 20.17 includes some additional features. There is a stream.expose duplex pair API that's been made available, which might be notable for people that are interested in that there is support. There's module support on that requires support for a. I apologize. Requires support for synchronous ESM graphs under the -experimental require modules flag. The thing is, we are still on 20.17 is new, and I'm curious to know if this will be forthcoming in a new release of Meteor.
Yes, so I can answer. There already is a pull request for it. 2017 is going to be in the next release, definitely the feature release, possibly even in the patch release. So that's coming up. And then after that, I guess, since the Note 22 LTS is coming up very soon, I think in October, then that will be the next thing that will be added to Meteor as well.
Okay. And I think, what are we up to now here?
Yeah, so if you find what we are doing interesting, guys, somewhere down below should be a thumbs up button. So please hit it so that you give us a like so that other people can easily find it and the algorithm can recommend this to other people. Hence, we can reach out outside of Meteor Bubble potentially as well.
Awesome. And I think there is some more news here, isn't there?
Yes, as always, we finished the news segment with Meteor News, for which we have quite a few this week. First of all, big exciting update is the update of the roadmap. So here is the pull request, but let's switch to the actual viewable version right over here. And very quickly, what is coming down in Meteor in the coming releases? Improved TypeScript support for Meteor and packages. Yay from Kelly, I guess. Performance improvements for Meteor 3.0. There's actually already a work in progress pull request that's looking into that. Bring community packages to the core, on which we'll have probably more news next week. There has been a lot of talk about the MongoDB change stream support. So that's, from my understanding, the next big thing after all the upgrades we did to Note 20. Hopefully, though, not as painful as what we had to go through here, but who knows, because the MongoDB uplog is quite internal to how Meteor works with reactivity and change stream is, it wasn't done in the past because change stream weren't up to the task, but it has to happen because uplogs are going to become deprecated pretty much for external use in the near future. A lot of talk about Vite support or integration of Vite, and potentially replacing Babel with ESBuild, Rollup, or some other more modern tool. There's actually a new major version of Babel coming up as well, but for that we will also need to support the package.json export fields, which is some issue with certain packages as well. Part of the Vite and replacing Babel is to also get tree shaking. And then there is additional, of course, improvements on release, could say speed and reliability. Windows 11 support improvements. With that same also with WSL on Windows. And finally, they are promising us HTTP 3 support as well. And there are some other candidates items as well. Particularly interesting, I think, is the integration with Tauri to replace Cordova and Electron in a single tool, and also use integration with Capacitor.js and then some other stuff around DTP. So that is the new roadmap. You can go to the forums and kind of opine and let us know what you think about all of these things. All right. Another, I would say, I've discovered at least today, so you could say hot news, is that Galaxy now has new docs. You could say the Galaxy support page, roadmap, and documentation or guide have been integrated into one page. So galaxy-support.meteor.com. You can access it. So that's a bit of a change there. Next, for all the talks about SQL databases and whatnot, if you need it, Lasky has the MySQL package with reactivity as well. So, I'm tipping my imaginary hat to Lasky for doing that, and he has released a version that is compatible with Meteor 3.0. So, if this is something that is of interest, definitely check out Lasky's MySQL package, and you can enjoy MySQL with Meteor and reactivity, all of that. Another thing, we will be releasing probably after this stream version 4 of Meteor roles. Already some people have been confused and forgot to read the notes. The biggest change with version 4 is that it no longer includes migrations from the past versions, and that synchronous functions are now available on the client only. So no synchronous calls on the server, only the asynchronous ones. And quality of life improvements, that roles collection and roles assignments collection can be directly imported from the package. So that one is reaching full release. You can get, as you can see here, release candidate 3, which should have everything in the final release unless there are some last minute adjustments. And finally, from the news, I would like to point out a new package from Paolo Mogolon, and that's Zod Schema, which is similar to Simple Schema and Collection 2 together, just instead of Simple Schema using Zod. And he has also this 3 additional function with soft delete, with dates, with user, which, for example, with user adds a user ID field and make sure that on insert the user ID is filled in. With dates, adds created at, updated at, and fills those up. So those are very common things, at least I do in my application. So definitely something to check out if you are starting a new project on this part. Yeah, I think that's
all right,
it.
Guys. And yeah, I was going to ask you, by the way, really quickly. I didn't want to interrupt when you were moving on because we are trying to keep this tight this week. I think both of us have things to do immediately after the show. I've got to get on the road to head upstate, and I believe you've got some other obligations too. And we have a guest here with us today. I'm going to just mention very quickly before I ask you to hit that subscribe button. Well, let me ask you to hit the subscribe button right now. We're at 273 members. I want to give a little bit of a shout out. I'm going to do this a little early in the program. A shout out to Kelly, who has done a very successful request to the members to participate a little more in watching the program and getting some more attention. I will be coming up with the total number of watch hours that has had an impact, that this has had an impact on altogether, because that is something that Kelly asked for earlier, to let him know about it. But in the meantime, if you have not done so yet, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500 members. Is it 500 members? It is 500 members, isn't it? Yes, 500 members, so that we could be part of the YouTube partner program. And that is our goal. We are at 273. Thank you, everybody who has hit the button so far and joined. Let's try to get to 280 before the end of next week. That'll be great. My own goal is before we get through September is that we get to 280 or 300. So my stretch goal is 300. So please just hit that subscribe button and let's do it. I just mentioned really quickly, though, that our guest here, Victor, who's been lurking in the background with us, smiling quite a bit, which I love seeing the smile. So it's so friendly.
Yeah, I was reading the comment from Jan saying that he realized he didn't hit himself the subscribe button. So I was like, have you hit the subscribe button, Alim?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So Simon is here and he's from AlloHouston. And just as a bit of a preview, he will be talking about their role at the Paris Olympics this year. So, but before that, we have some additional news, and I'm going to turn this back over to Storyteller so that he could talk about some packages, and then we're going to talk about some other surprise which we have kept from you so far.
Yes, I want to do a quick recommendation or shout out or something to look into. There is this article on totallytypescript.com about how to create an npm package, and it kind of goes through all this stuff that you need to do to create a package today. And as you can see, as I am super speed scrolling through this, it's a lot of things, in total 9 huge sections. So if that is something that you plan to do very soon, definitely I would recommend to take a look to see what you can possibly add in your package. I personally would probably do some things differently. Instead of Meteor, I would probably use Biome, but there are other things that I think are super cool and definitely something for you to consider.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to get right into that other surprise that I did not mention. This is a surprise within a surprise, which is our own Storyteller will be heading to Japan to speak at the Open Source Summit over there. So it's a really big deal. It's one of the biggest open source conferences, and he'll be giving a talk. Well, let me turn it over to him. He'll tell you what he's going to be chatting about.
All right, so thank you, Alim. I made the announcement yesterday for those who follow me on social media that I have been selected to speak at the Open Source Summit Japan, which is in 8 weeks, 2 days, 10 hours, 10 minutes, and a decreasing number of seconds. I will be, let me zoom this in here as well. I will be giving a talk titled Surviving Project Abandonment, MeteorJS Case Study, which pretty much will be going through the history of Meteor and what other communities can learn from it and how to become more, let's say, sustainable, reliable, and have more chance of a survival, especially in the case where, let's say, the maintainer might be switching to something else. So with that, I would like to invite all of you to come to Japan, Tokyo. This is your nice big excuse that you can make to come and visit Japan. If you do, please let me know. And you should probably register as soon as possible because the prices of tickets will be going up. Let me know if you come, and we can then potentially, meet up and either just go for dinner or do some more interesting things.
I expect that this is a relatively expensive endeavor for you, getting out there and I guess leaving from Czechia and going to Japan. I know that you do this once or twice a year to get over there and run business, but this is different, isn't it?
Yeah, so actually it's more like, once in 2 years right now is the frequency, though
Yeah.
lately it's been getting even worse. So I have been having Japan withdrawal symptoms, but it is indeed expensive, and I will be, first of all, I will try to document as much of this journey as possible. I will be providing some additional, let's say, benefits or insights for my sponsors. And I will be also, and that I will probably get to that over the weekend to kind of calculate, looking for people and companies who would be interested in deferring some of the costs related to the conference. Right now, I calculate it's going to come about 2,500 euros on that. So I will be looking to defer some of that cost by providing maybe some services or some additional content and feature things like preview of the talk, where you can provide some feedback to me, because it is not going to be online. I'm not even sure if it's going to be recorded. So this will be one way that you can get the talk. My big hope with this is to hopefully generate some interest in Meteor as well, and maybe recruit some new developers into the Meteor community.
It's a very provocative title, I have to say. So it should draw people to it. So that's terrific. So guys, if you are interested in helping him out on this, I think it's a noble cause. Any company, any person that might be interested in helping to provide a scholarship so that he can get to the conference, and that would be I think very much appreciated. So let me shout out again to Kelly Clopley for that 3,000 hour challenge. Kelly, I will tell you that we did this week about 74 hours worth of watch time. Normally we do about 35 to 40. So it's a significant increase over what we normally do. In terms of total watch time, we are now at, for the year, we are now at 1,201 hours. So we're doing a rolling 365-day view on this, because that is how YouTube is going to calculate out the number of hours. So I think your endeavor was actually quite successful, and I think we should continue this. So we didn't seem to get penalized for the additional watch hours in terms of people that might be watching the playlist. So if you want to keep pushing with that, go with it. We'd appreciate it very much. And yeah, it turns out that we have had, I think, about 2.1 hours of playlist watch time. So, pretty much every video that's on that list got watched in that 2.1 hour period. It's fascinating to see how this all worked out. So it looks like basically like 3 people ran the playlists in the background. Now, it could very well be that more people did, and YouTube just kind of like, cut them, because we've noticed that YouTube regularly cuts the views on our channel. We don't know why. We're trying to figure out what that's all about. I think they perceive that some of our viewers might be fictional, even though they're real people. So I'm not sure how we overcome that. But yeah.
Well, I think we can do right now a bot check. So say hi in the chat, everybody. Let us know where you are watching us from, so that we know that you are real and you're not just a robot.
Exactly. So let me get back to our script here, and I just want to introduce our next guest. and I say next guest as if there was a previous guest. There weren't. If you were here, you would know that. But if you're just joining now, and I noticed that we've had a few more people join us, it's great to see. But if you are joining us now, we have with us Victor. Victor, how do I pronounce your last name? Is it Papoy?
Actually, in French, we say parpoil, but you can say parpoil or something like that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you say it because you pronounce your name better and I don't want to butcher it. But Victor is a longtime member of the Meteor community, and he has just returned. You should be wearing your gold medal, from the Paris Olympics. And the Paralympics are going on right now, by the way, guys. If you are interested in the Olympics and the things that go on there, then you should check it out. Victor, is your application still being used at the Paralympics right now?
Yes, actually, it's a big usage right now because, just to describe quickly what we have done, we created 2 apps that are used by delivery professionals inside the city. And so since the Olympics are starting again, since I think Wednesday, it's getting more traction now because there's a lot more people in Paris right now than it was end of July.
Awesome. So let's pull back a little bit because, I just kind of jumped right into it, but I wanted to get people a taste. So it's not that you just built this application and it was used for 2 weeks and then it's done. It's actually still being used right now. And I just wanted to point that out because it didn't register in my mind earlier about this until I remembered that the Paralympics are still going on. I was thinking to myself, this is part of infrastructure. It probably is being used still. And I was kind of, interested in finding out that. But let's go back first. I mentioned that you're a longtime Meteor community member. We don't really, and actually for a very long time, I think there was the Meteor Paris meetup, right?
Yeah,
were you guys involved in that?
I've been there once or two.
Okay.
But Vianney was organizing this, just stopped it at some point. And,
all right. I was just curious.
We may have some more things in Paris happening. I don't know.
Yeah, because Paris for a while was the number 4 largest meetup in the world, and then it became the number 3, and then it became the number 2, right? So, so it's really got a long history with Meteor. The French do. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? And obviously you're in Paris, so I've already given that away. And
so I'm Victor, I'm 37. I've started coding 20 years ago.
Okay.
I did some mechanical engineering degree, I think Jan, who is there. That doesn't lead directly to programming, but that's what happened to me. Then I got a business administration degree to get into more business side of my life. And I've been going through a lot of programming language, from a very lower level, like C++ or Fortran, and finally JavaScript, in the last 10 years, I guess. I've been using Meteor for about 10 years. I think I started with 0.9 version. And that was a few years before creating my company with my 2 partners. And together we decided to build AlloHouston in 2016. So it has been 8 years now. We are a self-funded company that provide a service for companies. We build and design custom-made, tailor-made, I would say, applications. Which are used for 2 main things, which are when a company wants to create a new product or a new service, but doesn't have a tech team or want to have another point of view on this, they could ask us. The other way is when you want to transform your internal processes, you want to have some more collaborative way of working, you want to have modern tools, then you can, if needed, create your own platform and operate your business onto it. And we help teams doing that. So we only work with businesses. We don't work with the IT part usually. And that's a big difference, I think. What can I tell you more? We are about like 10 persons working right now in our offices in Paris. We are not really into remote work yet. I like to be like in close collaboration with people. So
Yeah.
we have this. We go there like three days a week, and it's a nice collaboration way of working. And I think for now, most of our apps that are running in production use Meteor. I think it's about 80 to 90% of the, we have like 16, 17 app SaaS products in production, and most of them are running Meteor.
Wow. Do you use Meteor because it's it for the speed of development, or do you use it because of the reactivity, or both? Or, I mean, how do you decide when you're using when you're going to use Meteor in a project?
Sure. We went to Meteor at first for a very good reason, which was it was a single language and a single app to launch, and it was much easier for us to build upon and to create MVPs using Meteor at the time. We have been quite amazed by all the reactivity stuff, but really quick we went into production problems and performance issues, even with a very few number of users. And so we had to learn the hard way how to refactor this to be more efficient. And so right now, Meteor is our backend, I would say, on the build tool, but most of we don't use much of the reactivity system yet. We use React for the front end, and we use a lot of React query, which allows us to interact with the backend in a seamless way. And what we like a lot about the framework is the ability to have full stack components and full stack packages, so you can bring full stack functionalities to your app very easily.
So isomorphism is something that is really central to the development that you do.
Yeah. So we have built like a lot of tools to be more efficient, and to reuse a lot between projects. And I was smiling earlier because we have seen the Zod collection package.
Yeah.
And it's implementing stuff that we have had in our apps for like 8 years, like created that, created by, updated that, updated by, this kind of things, which are really helpful when you need to debug real life applications.
So Victor, I noticed that you have a couple presentations here. Are any of these, I know we have this slide that's showing on the screen. Are you in control of this at this point? I don't know if you're...
Jan is in control. We can talk about it if you want to dive into the Olympics.
Yeah, just give me 1 second before we go there, because I thought that there were some other things. I apologize. Let me pull back a little bit and just ask really quickly. So you have a pretty static team right now. What'd you say, about 17 people altogether on the team?
About 10 people.
10 people.
Like the three of us founders, 4 developers, and 1 designer. That's the inside team. And then we have subcontractors, freelancers that work with them, which were like 3 up until July. And then there was vacation, but I guess more people will come in the next months. We use subcontractors when we need specific expertise, like creating a big data stuff on Google Data Platform or something like that.
Okay. I thought your audio went out a second. I don't know.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you had stopped your thought. So I wasn't quite sure. I thought you were going to add something else there. That's okay. So I was kind of curious about so it sounds like you expand or contract with subcontractors based on project need. Is that right?
Yeah, we really try to get people on the long-term relation inside, because since we need to maintain the products we deliver over time, for years, we need to keep the expertise of the business side of it, because the technical part, it's much easier to replace because it's quite common and reusable between projects. But the business expertise, like knowing what's about delivering stuff during the Olympics. This is very specific, and you need to learn about it to be able to develop the app.
And do you ever onboard Meteor developers?
Yeah, we have tried to work with some experienced Meteor developers on some projects. But since we use React now, it's much easier to find JavaScript developers that will onboard the project. When we were using Blaze, there was a bit more friction over there.
Yeah.
That's also why we changed to React. I think like half of the code base now is legacy using Blaze, and everything new is on React.
On React. Excellent. All right. Well, listen, that's a lot about you guys. I hope you guys have learned something about AlloHouston, because before this, I didn't know very much about AlloHouston other than you guys are there. So why don't we talk a little bit about the Paris Olympics? I mean, that's like a pretty big deal to get invited there as a technology provider. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how AlloHouston got involved? How long ago was this relationship created? You know, how did you end up providing this logistics support? You know, what was the mechanism that you guys participated?
Yeah, let's rewind to the previous slide, actually. We have been working for since 2022, we worked with the Interlude program, which is like a state-managed agency that has per which objective is to reduce the carbon emissions globally. So their main focus is about logistics in the cities. And so at that time, there was big regulations coming in France and in world Europe to have areas in big cities where you cannot ride your motor car if it's air quality criterion is too high. You know, if it has too much emission. And so these regulations were very specific when you talk about professionals, because for everyone, the rule is very clear. You have a sticker on your front shield, and if it's 4, you cannot drive into Paris. If it's 3, 2, or 1, it's okay. And maybe next year it will be like only 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. But for professionals, there are a lot of specific rules. So the Interlude program proposed to create a platform to share all the knowledge about the regulation with everyone. And so you can customize your journey inside the app depending on what you are driving. So if you're driving a truck that is allowed to go through Paris, you will be able to drive to Paris. And if you are not allowed, it will go around because it has a journey planner. That was a call for tender that we won at the time. We worked on the whole front end and back end of the app, but we had a partner that helped us on the routing system, because this is very specific. Being able to compute a route, a lot of friction of points that you need to avoid. If you go from South Paris to North Paris and you need to avoid all this green area, for example, it's complex. So that was 2 years ago. And then everything went quite smoothly. I think they were happy about it. And then the program got in charge of the logistics during the Olympics, which is something important, because as you see here, in Paris, inside Paris, there are a lot of zones that are highlighted in blue and red where you cannot drive. You are not supposed to drive, except if you are very specific conditions. And that's all they thought, and they say, oh, okay, we can reuse this project and modernize it. And we could work with AlloHouston to deliver this app to everyone, and especially to all the professionals. So that was one point. And the other point that was raised, it was like, okay, there will be police control at every gate getting into these zones. And so we need to be able to know if the person coming in with his car is allowed to get in. And for this, the technology chose was scanning, flashing QR codes. We have had a very large experience of QR codes during COVID in France, where you needed at some point a QR code to go somewhere, to go to a restaurant, to go to see a movie and everything.
Interesting.
And so there was a company named IN Group who delivered this. And so they delivered the app to the policeman to scan the QR code, and they delivered the API to create the QR code. So we also worked with them here during the Olympics. And so on our side, it was about validating the identity of the person coming in. Is the car allowed? What's the reason of him going to this area? Maybe as a delivery to do. Maybe that someone that is a doctor going to someone else. Maybe he's a taxi driver. Maybe he's an elevator urgency repair fix, and someone is stuck and things like that. So all of these people needed to subscribe into a platform that I can show you, maybe, which is right there. But maybe, Jan, you can switch to the live view, because this is interesting. So that's the first tool, which is used right now, actually. It has, it's a presentation website, so it has a few features where since everyone needs to say when and where is going to deliver something, we are able to know, okay, here in this area in the north of Paris, there will be a lot of people on Thursday. So maybe I should go there on Sunday because there will be nobody. Obviously, there are not much deliveries on Sundays.
Yeah.
Maybe Monday is a better choice to do my delivery over there. Or maybe, I don't know, well, next Sunday. A lot of people are going there, obviously. So this is interesting for people because they share their real-time deliveries, and then it helps the other to coordinate and to know if there will be a lot of people in this area at that time, and so maybe they will choose to organize that delivery in another way.
Victor, who is using this app? Is it the drivers that are using this app, or is it?
Usually in this kind of company like DHL, Amazon, and
Okay.
there will be like a planner that will be using this to prepare everything in the morning. Okay,
so this is used in the planning stages.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they can check if an address is somewhere, like if we type here an address, we can see whether it's this is the okay. I was surprised. We can look if this specific place is in a regulated area, and we have a big map presenting a lot of data too, which was used by professionals. And finally, there is this backend when you can create your account, give all the documentation about your car, get a QR code, and then declare that you are going into a blue zone or red zone. And for this, I can show you here the backend. Once you are connected, you have like your company profile. You have put documents that are going in through an OCR process. Then you can create your vehicles and give the regulation paper and stuff. So all of this was to ensure that people going into the zones were habilitated to do so. Right.
So they're authorized.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is very cool. So all of this that we're seeing right now, this front end work here, this is all linear, or this is React?
This is all Meteor on React. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. How has it performed?
Performance?
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty good. I can show you I had prepared this, but the tab went away. Wait a minute. Let's see the performance monitoring right now. This is the Monty APM for the app actually, and so that's how it behaves. So it's quite smooth. I mean, so far it's okay. We don't have publication except for roles, as we can see here, and like basic things, and everything is going through methods. And I think, let's see if something is a bit long. Yeah, that could be quite long because you are like uploading a CSV file with a lot of data. This is a backend stuff, getting all users obviously, but like most of it is going pretty smooth. I think so. If you see any warning point, just point it to me. But no, it looks quite good. We have been using the errors area too to fix the bugs during the process. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Over there, we have like I think 4 containers running for this app.
4, okay.
And we have had like right now usage is pretty low, but during the first session of the Olympics, we have had like about 50,000 visits per month. And it handles the load very, very, very good, very well, with a CDN to deploy all the static assets.
Sure.
And we have been working with zCloud from Felipe and Quay.
Sure. Yeah.
For the Kubernetes part, which allowed us to have a resilient infrastructure based on our own servers. And that was important for this project to be like located in France, etc.
I wanted to also ask you, so were there any periods where there were spikes in use? And, how did you deal with that? Did the 4 containers just handle them, or did you have to do any kind of, just-in-time provisioning to handle those loads?
Actually, the load was more on the database side. So at some point, we decided to migrate from one server to another one to get a larger machine for the database.
Okay.
And the other thing that was how do you say that? A point of failure was the authorization service, because we handled like I think maybe 200,000 documents that we need to convert to image, and then OCR to extract all the text from it and try to check data. And this was very consuming in terms of resources. So we had to parallelize the job into like a Docker service that we were able to scale up just to handle the load. And it was really interesting.
Was that a one-time event, or was that something that goes on, like having several thousand documents for OCR?
It was going on for weeks, because like this product, I think, let's talk about the timeline. We started working in February, and I think the first version was live in April. And from April, people were creating accounts and uploading documents for their car, for their company, just to get registered, and then to get QR codes that they will use later on, because we didn't want everyone to connect at the last minute and get their QR code, because that would have broken everything up.
Sure.
So from April to June, a lot of people were connecting daily and uploading documents. And that's how we registered, I think, 50,000 vehicles, cars, trucks, and everything in the app to deliver the QR codes. So the spike was continuous during this month. And now it's a bit lower.
So you have what might be regular usage now, right?
Yeah. And now what we are seeing also is when the police is flashing the QR code, they call an API endpoint on our side so we can deliver them data that we have had in the backend. So that can lead to some specific spike, but it's not so much so far.
Okay, so the
I
solution.
expect it to get higher next week, because next week everyone's going back to Paris because school is starting back.
Oh,
So yeah, that's about it for the first project. I think I have given like all the metrics and all the interesting points over there. And then I can talk about the second one, which is like more complex, because we talk about cartographic app like Google Maps, and we want to be competitive with them, because other way no one is going to use it. Because when you compute your journey, you want it to give you an answer pretty quick. If you have to wait 10 minutes for your computation, it doesn't work. So we have this nice web app, which is also mobile friendly. It behaves differently on mobile. You can try. You can look for itineraries on Google. You will find it. And so over there we present all the Olympic sites, and this yellow thing is purple thing is another area of reglementation that I was talking earlier. But we can zoom in. This is a live demo. I hope it will work, and I won't be hit by some bad luck. So here we can see during the Paralympics. So that's the state of regulation right now. So we have this blue area, red area, and then, well, yeah, red area, the gray one, which is another one, and we have these yellow lines where there are like a lot of lanes that are restricted to use for everyone except for the Olympic Committee. And so from then you can move over time and see, okay, let's see what's happening on Monday at noon or Tuesday at noon. And it changed because the regulations are moving depending on the Olympic, which is happening on the different sites. So here's the Eiffel Tower, if you're not familiar with Paris. And this is where the archery was during the first session of the Olympics. It's the Les Invalides. So this big area is close to the public. And if we go, I think, here, we will see, oh, I don't remember when is the big,
So are these implemented as time-encoded overlays?
Not sure. I'm not sure I got your question. Sorry, Alim.
So the areas that we see that are drawn in red, yellow, and so on, these are map overlays?
Yep.
Okay.
They're map overlays, and they have a start time and an end time.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean about time-encoded. Yeah.
And so this is the Paralympic marathon that's happening on Sunday. So you see on Sunday, if you are driving a car in Paris, in North Paris, it will be very complicated because this is an area you cannot cross. So you have to go around. And so that's how the journey planner is interesting, because it can compute your way through this restriction and then help you find your way when it's a bit complicated to find it. For this, I will try to make a live demo that works, because what you need to know is that we rely on an external service that is pushing to us all the regulations. This service is a national service, and it has been built almost in the same time we have built this product. So the maturity of it is not yet 100%. So I'm pretty sure they haven't this red zone in their data. So if I try to compute something here, it won't work. So let's try to do something that will work. I will try to go from, let's say, one street over there. Oh, over there I can toggle something because we have delivery spots. So let's say Avenue Breteuil, which is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we want to go north of this area, like something around here. And let's see what happens. Here we are computing the route in PostgreSQL, which is a quite complex algorithm. And over there, you see what's happening to my route. We are avoiding all the forbidden areas because we are not supposed to drive in those areas. So this is helpful for people and for professionals.
That's cool. And you said that the computation is being done by an external service?
It's pure PostgreSQL query.
Mm-hmm.
We have created a lot of data in PostgreSQL from the map data, actually.
Okay.
And we have pre-processed the data. So we are able to do a query that is computing the best, maybe not the best, but at least one way that respects all the regulation in place.
Interesting.
So over there, we can try to add a stop. Let's say Rue Bellechasse that I spotted over there. Let's see if it will manage to go to my spot over there and still avoiding the area. Well, that's a good demonstration. I'm happy it works because this service, it's a very complex thing, and sometimes it doesn't work. It will still go through some parts.
Okay.
But it's working smoothly. So it's like a Google Map stuff, and as you have seen, it responds pretty quick. And over there, we were able to plug in Google Maps because we don't do navigation.
Okay.
So the user driving the car, we go there. I will just switch here. And over there, we had a little trick, is that we give to Google Maps all the spots to create this, because they don't know, they don't have the data.
Right.
Telling them we cannot go there. So that was like something very interesting. It was trying to give to the public more data than what Google had. And we only did using national services from France, which is even the map is coming from the National Geographic Institute.
Okay.
The data is coming from the National Service displaying the data about regulations. We are based on servers in France from OVH Cloud, which is a French company. So it's really cool. Even the address search is a French service. So
very French, all the way through, huh? So I wanted to ask you the underlying map in your application. Is that who's the provider for that? Is that an open source map, or
that's the National Geographic Institute of France.
Okay, it's their map.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's open to the world, so anyone can use it. But I guess it's detailed only for France.
Wow. I noticed also that it's not just Paris that you have on this, but a lot of the main cities like Lyon,
of course,
Nice, Reims. Like there are a lot of different locations.
You have world France, and you can compute routes everywhere. The thing is that if you want to compute like a long shot route, let's say I want to go from Toulon to Paris, that will take a bit more time, because we need to compute much more data in PostgreSQL. And so this computation can get to be quite long. I hope it will succeed at some point. Let's see.
It's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. One last question I have on forever, and I don't want to because it's a lot, which is in terms of now I'm having a senior moment because I had the question before and now it's gone. So let me just pull back and let me see if Storyteller has any questions or anything that he wants to share here.
I think no. We are also getting on in time, so I don't want to go beyond. So I'll keep my peace for now. Very impressive.
It is quite impressive, and it's really nice to see this whole thing come together like this. Oh yeah, the last question I had was, and I just want a really quick answer on that. Is the overlays that we see, are those things that you are computing, or is that data that is provided from the government itself or some other third party?
Most of the overlay are open data from the government. We have a fantastic website for open data from the government, which is data.gov.fr. I'm trying to show you, and they publish a lot of things. So we have like parking, all the parking spots for a lot of countries, a lot of cities are over there. So it's really interesting. And most of the data you have seen before is coming from this, but some of the data was given to us directly because they didn't have time to publish it in the right way. And I can tell you that we receive data even today regarding the Olympics, the Paralympics that are happening right now. And that was, I think, the biggest challenge of all those projects. It was being able to know what regulation will be in place and to know exactly where it will be and get the data in the GeoJSON format that will be suitable to use and being able to integrate this really quickly. Because
it seems like you guys have developed a real skill around mapping data.
Kind of, yeah. It's part of what I like in the job I do is that every time we get to know a different job, a different company, and then we get to know their job very well. And for this, we develop skills in geographic data, of course.
That's pretty awesome. All right, guys. I think we're at the end here. I don't see any questions coming directly for Victor. I'll give it a minute just in case anybody wants to ask if there's anything there. But we're at the 1 hour mark and we're trying to keep this as tight as possible. Victor, you had something else to add?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of discussion about TypeScript. And I want to say that we don't use TypeScript and we almost never write any tests. And so it's very able to have like production grade apps without those.
Wow, you keep it close to the skin, as they say. All right.
Kind of.
Well, listen, this has been great. And again, as I said before, we could have a longer conversation. Maybe we'll do a separate episode where we're just focusing on a deep dive on this project and some of the work you guys do. But we're happy to have you here, and we'd love to have you back sometime in the future if you're willing. That is an open invitation. Okay. And with that, I'm going to say, guys, this has been a great week. Thank you for joining, all of you that are still here with us, that are in the stream. And I'm going to wish you all a great weekend. Take care now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Where's that off switch?